Hey there, this is Fritz Westover, your viticulturist at Virtual Viticulture Academy and the Vineyard Underground podcast. I hope you're listening in there too. I have a great grower question from John in Missouri today, so I'm going to go ahead and share his question with you. It's on young vine training and see if maybe this is going to help you in your vineyard as well. So let's start here from the questions and the photos that John submitted. John says, these are second year Cayuga vine. I love Cayuga white. And as you can see, they've been double tubed because of deer pressure. So basically, John, you're putting on not one, but two grow tubes so that you can protect those vines from deer feeding on the lower portions. Super smart. You can do that with stacking tubes like this, or you can do it by adding side netting to protect them. So John says that now that they're up to the wire and need to be topped, so you think, there are these shoots coming up, and I plan on taking out two and leaving the strongest one and the one that's closest to the ground. Am I doing this properly? So, okay, John, when I look at your photos, the vines look very healthy, very productive. In fact, it looks like the shoots are almost as big as that rebar, which is probably bigger than 3/8 of an inch. If your goal is to have two trunks on this vine and you can get two shoots that are going to be about 3/8 of an inch or 8 to 10 millimeters in diameter by the end of the growing season, that means you could retain those two shoots as your two trunks. If your plan is to have a single trunk, you only need one of those shoots to meet that size requirement. Now, sometimes growers talk about topping vines in the midsummer and then pushing laterals, especially if they're going to use the laterals to produce cordon. However, we're already in June, so it's starting to get into the hot months. So what I would suggest that you do is don't do any cutting at this point because you may not get those laterals to push. So I see you've tied up your shoots here at the top. I'm going to say, if anything, just take a few of these shoots and lay them down onto your fruiting wire. Obviously, you're doing a high wire cordon development on these Cayuga vines. So you can start tying down your shoots and even laying them over as if you were going to develop them as cordon. And you can see if maybe those are going to be big enough to leave as partial cordons during the season. Now, if you're leaving two trunks, you can go up both sides and lay down either direction, but you would do that more this winter. So don't do any cutting, just do some tying like you're doing, do some training onto the top wire, laying down shoots left to right. Make sure you tie them gently. You don't want them breaking in the wind. And it looks like here at the bottom, like you said, you have anywhere from 2 to 3 shoots coming up from the base of your vines. I wouldn't want to cut them now because these shoots have spent so much time developing already that they have a lot of leaf area up there in the canopy. And that canopy is what's contributing to growing your root system. Now, if you would have thinned back to 2 shoots earlier in the year, let's say when the shoots are 12 to 15 inches long, you could easily have removed one and then just kept your 2. But because you've waited a little bit, now I would actually just leave it. And you're probably still going to go back in the wintertime. In fact, you definitely will. And you'll cut back to 1 trunk or 2 trunks, depending on what your goal is. So hopefully you like the advice I'm giving you today, John, because the advice is almost like saying do nothing. You've done the work already. You've got excellent growth. Maybe do a little bit of tying and get ready to start doing your trunk selection and possibly even partial cordon selection this winter when you're doing your dormant pruning. So I hope that question is going to help a lot of growers out there. I hope that the answer might apply to some of you listening here today as well. If you have a specific question in your vineyard, you can go to the Vineyard Underground podcast. That's vineyardundergroundpodcast.com. Click the Ask Fritz button, submit your question there, and I'll make sure I answer your question through email or maybe even answer it here on the YouTube channel. So I hope this is helpful for you. If you have any other questions or just want more resources on grape growing, be sure to check out virtualviticultureacademy.com. And I love all the comments you leave here. So thanks again for that. Be a better grape grower. See you on the next one.